Welcome back, everyone, as we move on to the second set of the day.
Both of these teams are so strong, and there's a lot of parity in how they play. Both teams have been struggling a little bit in the duo lane. They've been having consistency issues, I would say, and both teams have been having a lot of success playing through the mid laners. Dardes and BM team of Big Man Tings, rather, my bad, have been stepping up towards the second half of this split. I think that this set very likely will go 3 games.
Kali can use her arms as the hands of a clock because she's a ticking time bomb here for Radiance. It's a race against that time to try and figure out if they can take game number 1. So without further ado, let's jump down to Finch and Aggro. Take it away.
Well, we might not have much time to talk about it. Cheerio. Once more aggression moves in, and there's the Dharmic Pillars. First blood for Cyclone Spin, though. It's Cheerio that ends up falling early. Now the snipes come out. It does bring the Ganesh back down to kill the threshold, but the wall stun won't come through, so Aurora uses it to get aggressive, finds the root, and it's another kill for adapting. 2 on the board in a row for Radiance.
The attack speed really helps Ama because she's so focused on getting that passive stacked up. I like it.
Rapper might not like his spot, though. The hammer doesn't connecting, and it's Big Man Tings that gets the kill in the end. So Raffer's drop, but they're still stuck in this alcove, and SSG are on their way. It's a blanket from Cheerio, forces Tings to beads, and adapting. That's huge that Cheerio got both sets, and they're still not done fighting. Cyclone Spin and Aurora drop down. Argus still in the chase, but everyone else is done at this point. SSG may have lost Raffer, but they do at least get some relics.
Radiance try and pull this Gold Fury a little bit earlier.
They aren't going to pull it now, though. Half HP on the Fury, and 2 bombs already used. Rapper drops the Dharmic Pillars, but the Gold Fury was still leashed. Now that Rapper's suddenly locked down inside the pit, he's taking a bunch of extra damage. Cyclone Spin hits every snipe, and it's still not enough damage. Rapper lives through it all, and now Radiance are the ones on the retreat path. You don't want to be low HP near a Kali, because she loves to chew them up, but they don't want the fight at all. Spacestation come right back towards the Gold Fury. Aurora's on the way, but cannot steal. It's SSG that get the Fury.
I agree with what you're saying. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think that there's a lot of low commit CC from a distance for Radiance to pop this Magi's bubble.
Well, they were considering all-inning Dardes. I think that's every bomb from Tings, and Dardes walks away, but the dazzling offensive cuts the gap. Benji's able to get the kill credit. In comes adapting to drop down the walls. That brings the Kali low, but still not enough for any more kills. But Cyclone Spin has the air quotes execute. If he needs to ult and finish off some low targets, they got the cleanup. Instead, they'll take the tier 1 tower. Radiant find themselves a pick and a small objective.
Upgraded shell for both supports, but not a frenzy there for Aurora. He's gone with the Blink. Blink Terra ult, always a good way to get a team fight started. But no frenzy means that they're really relying on Benji as the main objective turner. Looks like they might not even need him. Gold Fury already down to 1 HP, but Raffer walks in, says, "Thank you very much, fellas, for getting that started for me. I'll be taking that. Thank you very much." Dharmic Pillars, an easy steal for SSG.
Taken away from them. They're going to try again with the Pyromancer. It's only Nika nearby, and they get the range CC they need, so Nika starts to fall low, forced into using that ultimate early, but the Pyromancer is still standing. Radiant's able to take care of it this time. Nika with the disengage on those final 2 shots of the ultimate, but Radiant's not thinking about disengaging. Able to find the stun off the ultimate is Benji. Thor goes up to the sky as well as the snipes come in from Cyclone, knowing there'd be a stun, but even still, SSG survive. No one has fallen yet.
Big ult from Dardes, though, right onto the back line. Argus goes, but not everybody from Radiance was low, and by that I mean no one from Radiance was really low enough for that play to pay off.
Maybe not a full-on commit here at this point, but they are indeed bringing it down, daring Spacestation to force their way in. No beads for Vote in the back as the Fire Giant gets taken. SSG, 3 objectives that Radiant have failed to confirm. It's going to be backbreaking for them if they can't win the fight, and Vote's here to make sure they can. Gets Tings to start things off. Cyclone Spin responds with a kill onto Cheerio, but this is SSG's time to shine. Silence on Aurora, consuming Bellow there as well, but he makes his way out of there. Radiance on the full-on disengage.
Nice persistent gust over the wall from Vote, and airstrike to finish it off. But now with this change, you get some flat reduction off of your ultimate cooldown every time you pick up an Astral Arrow. That's going to be key here for Cyclone.
Stepping forward is Benji Aurora, but they get two-man knocked up by Nika. Not a bad way to start the fight. Aurora tries to get to the back line, but he catches crits from bout and doesn't have an answer. Adapting does get rid of Cheerio with no ultimate, but it costs Benji his life. A 2-for-1 so far favoring SSG, and Nika wants to keep things going. Finds his way to Tings for a double kill. They completely push Radiance out of the Fire Giant pit. Now they come back to FG and should be able to grab it, though Adapting still nearby. Looks like he's going to spend more time pushing in mid, and Benji gets polymorphed right out the gate, so the wave makes its way in, but Adapting responds with a hammer that does half of Dardez's health, but Cheerio doesn't need much time to bring Benji low. Meanwhile, on the left, the Dharmic Pillars have already been used. Vote acting more like a chainsaw than a hunter at this point, chewing through anyone in front of him, but still, Radiance's base is holding. They've lost some Phoenix health, though.
And Dharmic Pillars already on cooldown. That Phoenix still healthy enough. That is a good start for Radiance.
And Aurora still had his ultimate at this point, so it's a great time for Radiance to step forward. Big shots from Cyclone Spin brings Vote down low, and Benji not going to quite find a stun onto Cheerio. Now he's got to reposition as Nika continues to keep everybody displaced. That was with an Earth and Fury with this ultimate here from Terra, and still Radiance are on the back foot. Cheerio catches up to Aurora, gets the kill, leaps in for Benji to make it a double. The Kali is online, but Cyclone Spin shuts it down. Not going to be the full reset as left side Phoenix is low, and SSG grab.
Man, Radiant should count their lucky stars that Cheerio forgot to do the most important thing on Kali, which is press forward. Never got that ultimate off. That might have been game if he had.
He could be in some trouble here too. Manages to wiggle out of that Thor wall, connecting him, but Cyclone Spin not gonna miss. Not a large of a target. So even though Spacestation get that left side Phoenix, they lose 3 members for the pleasure and end up having to completely fall back. Obviously still a big advantage for them to have the Phoenix furthest from the FG, but Radiance are making this siege really difficult on this defense here, Aggro. I had that, but Benji was indeed backing, so they'll send at least one person there. He has the upgraded teleport. He can rejoin them onto a ward, no problem. So he can deal with a wave, but this is exactly where Spacestation feel favored, where they want to force Benji back and still have fire minions for Radiance to worry about in the back of their mind. Argus finds Adapting. He does make it up to the sky, but just barely. It's got to be purely defensive. Meanwhile, Vote's in some trouble. Benji got back there, and Cyclone Spin hits the 3rd shot. That's enough for Vote to end up falling. So now Radiance finally have the 5v4 advantage, but can you call it 5v4 when someone has to defend the left side wave? It's really 3-on-4, and SSG realize that they still have the advantage. They re-engage.
Benji gets absolutely chunked by Cheerio. Late game has arrived for the Kali, and Cheerio finds his 3rd kill, but Adapting and Cyclone are on their way back.
They can re-tip these scales back in Radiance's, for that wall is great against just about everybody else except Ganesh, I'm pretty sure, but unfortunately, he cares not for your walls. Fire minions continue to punish the Titan of the Chaos Side team. They get their stun on the Rapper, but he's got the silence. That prevents any more follow-up from coming. Radiance are all in committing to try and get this, but the Titan is slowly dying. It will lose to this minion wave if Radiance can't get back there, and Space Station are not going to let them channel their back at this point. They're going to have to hoof it the hard way. As SSG keep up the presence, Adapting takes to the sky with his own ultimate, does find the dunk down the Rapper, but look how low their Titan is. They might be winning a fight, but losing the game here at this point as Adapting gets the double kill. Cyclone Spin's unstoppable, and the Titan barely survives. Is that a calculation? Do you give him credit for that?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give them some credit, right? They know that they aren't gonna die to that exact wave. I don't know that sending a roar back is the right call here, though, because he just can't defend this Phoenix. Benji's on the way up, and then minion wave spawns, but it's too late. I just don't understand the decision to send a roar back. You have to keep track of every single person on the map, and here goes Cheerio. He's going to try and find an angle that the enemy team doesn't have wards, potentially, and maybe just try and waltz up for the end.
Yeah, it's not even just on keeping tabs, but you kind of also have to stay into the position where you can react at any point, and I don't think they're ready for Cheerio's pathing. The good news is they are backing big man teams. Oh no, he's not backing. Raffer steps up and prevents it. I think Cheerio is going to get this. They don't have any idea that he's taking this pathing towards making it. Once he goes through the Phoenix, they'll see. And Big Man Tings is backing now just in case. But I don't know if he can do enough. Cheerio has the action available, which means he cannot be killed in this state as long as he can survive. Ooh. But he can't. They get the kill. That's enough to stop Cheerio from ending the game. Adapting takes down Boat as well. Maybe Radiance can turn this around after all.
Now this is a great spot for them to be in. Maybe not for Aurora individually, because Dardez claps him, with the Royal Assault, and now it's Benji who goes, guys, we were winning this fight, right? But Adapting says, Cherry, let me show you how it's done, big fella. I'm gonna go and end the game myself.
I don't think he can, though, by himself. So, yeah, he starts to back up there. Good recognition that he didn't quite have that much threat. But at the very least, it pulls Nika back. So now in the more honest 2-on-2, Radiance win that. Dardes ends up falling on that side of the map. What a game this has been back and forth in this late game as they continue to push and pull each other across the map.
Rafford is doing his best to distract in the mid lane, but Benji's going to go back. This left side Phoenix is going to come up. Adapting actually has gotten caught. He's dead to Nika's damage. Rafford baits his former teammate perfectly, but now Benji's back. It never ends, Finch. It never ends.
No, it is a carousel of kills as Benji is forced to use the ultimate to secure that kill onto Rafford, and that will stagger his death. We don't talk about a lot in Smite, but certainly relevant that he'll be 30 seconds behind everyone else on Space Station. At the very least, defensible decisions, right? Just or maybe because we have the results, it didn't pan out, but certainly they've been close. This is a big Oni Fury, though, that Boat's finding on the left-hand side. Sanguine love to do this in the late game, but this time it's Space Station. It might not matter, though. They're going to lose Rafford this early on in the fight, but Argus chunks onto Adapting. Not enough for the kill. He's up in the sky. His picture might be X'd out, but Adapting still roams the earth at this point. Will be able to get the back off in time and survive. So that is a pick now for Radiance, the 5v4 for this next fight.
Crazy damage from Dardes, and that's where you think, how much good is this sovereignty really doing me in that instance? Adapting lives because it's not 6 full damage items.
If it's even a speck of damage more, I think they get that kill, right? As Vote has to use his Aegis to immune out the stun, or rather the damage, coming from Benji. Cyclone Spin can't find much with the ult from there, so they turn back to the FG. Well, we knew that both of these teams had drafted compositions that would prefer to fight late, right? And we don't see that too often. We usually see the opposite happening. One is late, one is more early, and how that ends up panning out. So these teams both feel very comfortable right now, but this is a trap from SSG, and I don't think Radiance are ready for it. Argus chunks onto 2, but Boat's been left in the back. Aurora gets the kill credit for that one. Tings, though, dies in trade, but Adapting finds the stun. Raffer's low, but not dead. Cheerio low, but not dead. How long can Space Station last? Not much longer. Able to get the kill on the Cheerio. Dardes falls as well. Now Nika in trouble as Cyclone Spin gobbles up the double, and that's the conclusion we were looking for. Radiance put a stamp on game 1.
I mean, I'm sure it scared Radiance right there. That's a surprise that you're not really ready for, but really good turnaround from them. Just solid job by Cyclone Spin. Coming out of that fight with both relics and full HP, that positioning has got to be really, really good. 9-1 and 9 for him. A really impressive ROM game in game 1.
Well, it sounds like you're leaning a little bit towards Radiance. Right now, the score is leaning a little bit towards Radiance. 1-0. Let's see if they can close it out or if SSG have what it takes here in game 2.
Space Station continuing to aggress into Radiance's side of the map. They've got some extra presence here from Dardes. I think that's why they're looking to fight around this purple buff spawn, but in comes the backup from Radiance, but Aurora takes a ton of poke. Was that all just Dardes on the Merlin? Either way, Adapting takes to the sky, dunks down, and is able to put in good damage with the Vote, but they can't keep up the chase, but Tings can. Finds the first blood, pulls Raffer back in, and even with the CC immune ult, he puts Raffer in the dirt.
Less than 100 gold, but up is really the moral of the story here. Just being even or not behind is key for Kali at this point.
That's a big wall stun, and Raffer ain't living after that. Perfect from Adapting, and Big Man Tings yet again is having a good game. 3-0-0. Not quite up 2,000 yet or Radiance, but they're in the lead.
And PK, got to give them credit too after their win over
they've been playing well
today. So they've been pretty hot as of late as well.
Cheerio able to find the stun and Adapting in the backline. Destruction gives him time to stay close as Boat drops the Suns. That cuts off the escape path. Easy up kill. What about Aurora? He is stuck in between everyone, and Nika gets the second kill of this engagement. Benji wants to try and get involved too, uses his ultimate. Can't find Boat with the second charge. This third one has to be for disengage, but he comes back in again, at least close to Cyclone Spin, looking for damage, trying to lock down these carries in the back. Gets the first one with the breath, and Cyclone Spin still alive. Tings makes it out as well, but Dardes collapses back onto him. Cyclone Spin will fall, and Benji all alone might not be able to find much more.
Dardes is out of mana entirely. If Benji could get close enough. I think that spit would do it. He's got a lot of power. He's not going to be as effective as Cherio even when he does catch up in XP. Radiant's got to be careful. Gold Fury's already low again.
And Adapting goes in first. Radiance grab the Primal Fury, and they're stuck inside the Taiko drums, but he doesn't get that much value. It brings Cherio and Nika all the way down and gets the Sentinel of Zeus out from Space Station solo laner.
Completely agree. That's a huge part of competitive Smite, is being the one in control.
Oh, Benji's in trouble. No control over how that situation went. Cherio cuts him down quick. And just like that, I mean, a fight that we thought Radiance were going to be able to start up in their favor is a 5v4 now for Space Station instead. They don't head to Fire Giant right away, though. Head towards mid, clear that up, and start pushing down this Tier 1 tower and force Radiance in.
That's big, because Benji has been such a key part of this early game here for Radiance and putting them in this position to win.
Cherio does get the ultimate off in time, and Cyclone Spin doesn't have that same luxury, but Aegis gets him to the back of the Tier 2 in time. Adapting takes to the sky, but if he goes in, it'll be a slow mission. I think rightfully so. He elects to come back. Those are still big tools for them, but Space Station starting up the Fire Giant, Benji nearby, and does have the ultimate, so this will not be going down for free. Cherio still doesn't have relics in the back of the fight either. Tings goes up to the Taiko drums, and Radiance are able to strip the objective away. Now Rapper in trouble in the back line. Tings cuts him down too, doing it all for Radiance as SSG can't secure.
Man, it's the big man Benji show, man. I'll tell you what, this Radiance team, so much of it is around this huge, star power of the duo lane that has won a world championship recently, Adapting the 2-time in the jungle. But yeah, don't forget about Benji's world championship. People better start to put some respect on big man Tings' name, because he's popping off.
Well, Space Station are going to go for a Tier 2 tower defense. Cherio finds a 2-man stun, but Benji has already gotten to Dardes in the back. Cherio does get one. Now Aurora is stuck in a bad spot, but Adapting takes care of Vote. It's a double for Cherry, and now Cyclone Spin is left alone. A great roll. What a juke. Lets him get back towards Adapting, so perhaps he can survive, but the Tier 2 tower lives. Cherio, Nika, Raffer, they're all still standing, and Radiance are the ones on the back foot.
But no Aegis here for Cyclone. Feel like this is a tough spot for him to get out of. Cherio, no relics. Good spacing on that wall means that Cyclone's going to have a tough time getting away, or at least Adapting's going to lose his life for it.
That was a good shot from Cyclone. It did bring Cherio low. Probably the only reason he's not being chased right now, but a Whirlwind of Rage and Steel brings him back towards Nika. They don't have a ton of damage, these two, so Cyclone Spin could potentially sustain his way through, but feels like a bit of a losing effort. But he's got Benji coming. I don't know if Space Station realized there's backup on the way. Raffer able to get out of there. He and Nika probably done with disengagement for now. They at least force out the blink on the back end. But remember how this starts, aggro. I mean, Radiance, with the Fire Giant, are trying to push down a Tier 2 in mid. Not the best. They'll start this one up, though. Cyclone Spin pulling the Fire Giant down to about half. Raffer steps in, loses a good bit of damage, too. But the Fire Giant fully reset at this point. Cherio blinks in, gets beads out from Tings, and forces him to disengage. Nika drops his ultimate as well. That is going to slow Aurora at the front of the fight. They'll even pick him up with Raffer's ultimate and bring him back. 2 ultimates used onto Aurora without much value. Taiko Drums isn't getting much either, as a lot of ults are used without really a whole lot coming from it. Aurora blinks in. Cataclysm, they decide to all-in commit to kill Raffer. It ends up working. He falls, but Benji could be in trouble on the right-hand side. Regroups with Adapting and Tings and should be out of there, but Aurora gets caught by Cherio, gets away from that too, and Radiant are still A-okay.
And as a result, everyone from both teams decide to stop worrying about Fire Giant so much, as that's so much harder to confirm, and instead let their carries rotate over towards Oni.
Oni Fury's low, and Space Station steal it away, plus Cyclone takes a ton of damage. He goes up with the ultimate, but lands back down right into the ultimate from Nika. Cherio leaps over the Taiko drums and drops with the destruction. Even with big damage from Cyclone Spin, he cuts through him. Dardes gets one. Cherio finds the double. Big man Ting's in trouble too, but Bout wants to get in on the fun, so they cut down the Raijin. Just like that, Space Station find a 4 for 0. There's a lot of towers left up on the map, but this is eating time if you're SSG.
That might just be game. No wave here, but Oni wave is pushing with you. Cherio's doing a good job making sure Benji doesn't just to get back to base. Is going to be at least mid Phoenix. Don't know if it's going to be quite an end call with the health bars the way they are, but not looking great right now for Radiance.
No, this looks bad. Cheerio not going to allow Benji to find the backer. We're still 15 seconds from Aurora joining them. I think that Space Station Gaming have done enough. Now remember, with 2 towers still up, there is some extra Titan health, and Benji is finally getting the back off. But no, I forgot Merlin was here for SSG. That's just too much damage. No way they're going to defend against all of that. Space Station in 33 minutes take us all the way to Game 3.
It's not going to be a very strong matchup for her. We'll have to see if SSG can overcome the mountain that Radiance has built in front of them. It's Game 3. Let's go down to the casters.
I'd argue neither was super effective anyways.
Yeah.
The game just kind of happened around them, but this time they're both uncomfortable.
Okay, goodbye to Nika. Adapting finds an early rotation over to Solo, and that's first blood there for Radiance. That is a problem if you're SSG. Kali does not normally start off like this. That's more of a trend, so we might learn something there. Aurora is looping underneath, but he doesn't have Dharmic Pillar, so this isn't that frightening. But Adapting is on his way. They lock down Aurora inside the Suns. He gets the turnaround silence, and Bout has nowhere to go. It's a second kill now for Adapting on this Kali. And it's worth, I think, talking a bit about what Cheerio has done during all this, because this early game has been very active for Adapting here so far, but Cheerio has just kept farming. I say that, but now he's looking for a gank. Aurora stuck in the Suns again. Dharmic Pillar to keep Cheerio zoned out, but they don't even need him. Boat burns him down quick. So now Adapting is to win the 1v1, but Cheerio hasn't used his ult yet, and that's enough to push Adapting away. Meanwhile, Benji...
True kill potential on this rotation anyways. Good idea to force the ult out. Maybe Nika does have kill potential.
Yeah, if that ult is maybe a little bit later timed, that could have worked, but able to make it out of there is Benji. But Cheerio dies underneath the tower, knows he has the Scarab's blessing at his back, gets rezzed, and there's nothing Aurora can do but watch. Suddenly, the game has evened back up. I asked, what is Cheerio going to do as a response? Well, how about ganking duo and mid? Not bad.
And remember, with this new ROM, you get that ultimate back pretty quickly, it feels like, so you're using even less of a resource than before.
Boat steps in, the silence is there, but now he's stuck inside the Suns. The roll from Cyclone Spin almost works, but he walks back into the Dharmic Pillars, takes the damage.
And now you're behind in that exact same matchup as last game. Ho Yi pushes that lead better than just about any other hunter in the game. Really hard to get away from this god when he gets a lead.
Cyclone Spin in trouble as Cheerio won't even let him get off the ground. Relentless pressure on this left-hand side of the map, and so far Radiance haven't had the answer. That great start from Adapting has been completely washed away.
To make sure that every part of his Pyroclasm hit from the one is coming back to him and putting Cyclone in position to get hit by all of them.
Raffer has to ult himself here in the middle lane, so he should fall on the back end of it, but the Tycho drums are used for damage. It ends up being enough, but that was close. Probably wouldn't have liked to have to use all those ults, but they do get that kill into Raffer to slow him down.
So getting some extra attack speed in the build early on makes your sustain better, makes it feel better to clear your buffs and clear your wave, and transitions well into the late game.
Clearly the call from SSG is aggression. Ultimate from Cheerio kills Cyclone Spin again, and he uses the beads. It's got to be frustration starting to set in a little bit here for Radiant. A Space Station, I talk about the halfway line a lot in this map. They're up past the 70% line. They're always in Radiance's jungle. They're not giving them even a bit of farm for free at this point, so you're not dragging him back out. Instead, maybe try and take your relevancy from Benji and activate that. Cheerio engages. Great silence there from Aurora to slow him down, but Cheerio still in the back onto Tings. The fear has to come out, but Dardez's damage is too much. Tings falls right away. Adapting gets a two-man stun underneath the tier 1 tower, but Raffer can tank it up, drops the ultimate on himself, but doesn't even end up needing it. They burn down the tier 1 tower, and Radiance, even with some good individual efforts, just cannot answer. Space Station head right back towards the Fire Giant, but they're not starting it up yet. Radiance have done enough to stall them out, and Adapting steps forward, uses the destruction, but that was rarely going to work. Instead, he has to fully disengage.
And Aurora has a not great Dharmic Pillars, walls in that one particular rock very effectively, and that's going to make this team fight hard for Radiance.
Good Taiko drums, though, from Tings, but Raffer, always with his head on a swivel, is able to drop the ult. Cyclone Spin finds a much-needed kill with those snipes. That cuts down Cheerio. Nika gets a second health bar off the back of Sentinel Azus, but Cyclone Spin rolls in, feeling himself a bit, trying to keep up the aggression. Now Adapting closes the gap, finds the stun, but not the kill. It's really only Benji that can keep up the chase, but Tings comes in as well to try and put out some damage. Radiance only get one pick, but aggro, this is what you were talking about. It's so hard to confirm these kinds of leads. I don't want to make it sound as though SSG aren't still in the driver's seat here. A little bit ahead is Dardez over Tings. They still have that advantage. Slightly ahead is Cheerio over Adapting, so they could certainly still come into these fights favorable, and it looks like they agree. They start up the Fire Giant, showing Cheerio's presence over in right. Raffer gets the Abduct onto Benji. That's some free poke, but they drop the Fire Giant, start up Pyromancer instead, and all the while, Radiance have not yet budged. They pop the Frenzy and go in aggressively, dropping the Dharmic Pillars around the Pyromancer. Radiance get the objective. Raffer abducts one back in. The Taiko drums force him to use the ultimate on himself. Cheerio and Nika both dive to the back, but it is still not enough, and Adapting wants the reset, can't find it. Dardez instead gets the kill, and Radiance lose their jungler. Benji shows up to the right, but Nika zones him out. Fire Giant has been started, and Raffer's taken a ton of free damage, so even though Radiance don't have the numbers, maybe it's still a good fight. Benji gets some good damage, so does Tings. Raffer falls right away to make it a 1-for-1. Adapting will be back before Raffer, so maybe this has flipped a bit, and Radiance, with the numbers advantage, could be the one starting up the FG.
I mean, Vote has been going a lot of Odysseus bow. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go for that. Nice blink from Cherry, gets him out of a clean, dazzling offensive start there from Benji.
Another odd one. Adapting once Cheerio gets the beads out from him. Meanwhile, the rest of Spacestation are grouping up around that Tier 2 tower in right. Frenzy popped, and they drop the Dharmic Pillar, so the Tier 2 tower goes down, but Raffer, again, is stuck in a bad spot, uses that Scarab's Blessing to stay alive, and is able to make it out of there. Benji dashes in, but Raffer resets. Adapting has to use his ultimate in the back line, but Radiance can't do much more here. In fact, they abduct Benji back in, and he pops like a balloon. Vote gets the kill, and Spacestation have the numbers advantage. Mid Phoenix already low, too, as a result of the 3-2 split. Another good Dharmic Pillars, and Dardez is isolated. Adapting is here with them. This is what they've been waiting for all game, but the Scarab's Blessing nullifies it all. Raffer able to bring them back. Cheerio gets the kill onto Adapting, but Tings blows up the Kepri. Not the greatest trade, but now Benji in trouble. The backline of Space Station team up to take him down. Cheerio lockdown, and Cyclone Spin gets a return kill, a 2-for-2, but Radiance don't have that much still available as Tings barely gets away from Nika.
They still have Vote, and Vote is your DPS on this Phoenix. Mid Phoenix will fall, but I think Radiance have done enough to extend this game a little bit longer.
Below 6,000 HP, and they're letting Benji solo clear it because he's the one that can TP back, but it's going to be hard work for the Alma to keep these waves pushed out. Meanwhile, SSG start up the Fire Giant. Aurora abducted back in, so they pull off it for a moment, put in damage. Dharmic Pillars doesn't find much. Cyclone Spin ults right away, hits one shot, but not much else from it. And now Radiance on the back foot, stuck in a bad engagement. So Raffer steps forward, finds the abduction to Aurora again. Cheerio in the back line looking for Cyclone Spin. The Taiko drums come through, and Adapting is able to get the kill, but Nika's going to try and stick to Tings here in this spot. Vote drops the Suns as well. They will not allow the Ryzen to escape, and Space Station making 1-for-1.
Cyclone and Adapting nearly killed, but a sick Taiko drums from Ting saves their life, and ends up pretty convenient that they both get back to base in time to clear two big fire waves that are coming in.
Benji trying to make his way in, but that's such a great route to cut out all of his momentum. He dies right away. Aurora now in the same trouble, pulled back in by the Void Stance, rooted by Raffer yet again, and this kill certainly will happen. It's a double. Adapting now jumping on the backside, but everyone is so healthy. No way he finds the reset. A perfect abduct, and Vote gets the triple. It's suddenly just Cyclone Spin left, and he's not going to be enough here, aggro. I think that's just the game.
Space Station continues their winning streak. What is this, 5 sets in a row that they've won now?
Man.
They were at 3-3 if memory serves, and they're about to be 8-3. Good time to get hot going into the playoffs.
I like the idea there from Cyclone Spin, roll in and try and find a kill, but it's just not happening. In the end, it's Space Station that closed this one out 2-1 over Radiance.